Muted.
Oh, see?
There we go.
Do that again.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. See, we're live. This is pure, it's live. This is real. This is as real as it gets. Cheers to the people in the comments, because again, the whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. So thanks for being involved and catching that for us. And like I was saying, that you couldn't hear, excitedly enough, let me welcome him now. We got Ricky back, Just Another Day TV and Silent Destroyer in the Pickle Gallery. Look at him repping the reactions channel. You look fresh as hell.
I mean, we try to do it, man. And when we do it large. We be on fire.
So again, Just Another Day.
And it's
TV
cozy.
Day.
It's cozy and nice.
It looks comfy. You look good in it. You make it look comfy.
It's cozy outside.
That's right. Well, he welcome back from the beach. But that being said, we got a full docket for you today. First topic is how Mr. Beast took tens of millions of dollars in loss with his big show on Amazon, Beast Games. And while it was a trailblazing moment for content creators, independents, and YouTubers, it seems to be he had to foot the bill to keep it afloat and make it one heck of a moment. Moving on from that, Vivek Ramaswamy is preparing to take his crown as King of Ohio, and we are rolling out the red carpet. But there's a lot to unpack there. This is going to be a more dense conversation than just Ohio and politics. But he's flirting with something that really struck a chord with me. I haven't had a chance to really flush it out on the podcast ever. And it's been a major topic, especially when I was in grade school. We're going to have a lot to unpack with merit pay. That's something I am passionate about, and I would like to have a good conversation on that. So it's kind of like a double topic. And because of that, we're going to be ending today's episode with a good game. And I'm gonna just save it all for the end, because it's more of like a palate cleanser that probably shouldn't even be on the internet. But Dirty Mind, Dirty Questions. It's kind of a welcome home to Ricky. But that being said, I got to thank my good friend and my co-host joining me today, as always, Will Hubert. And on the keys running it, Dougie Fresh. Let's get it going. All right, so the last couple episodes, we've been kicking the episodes off with updates, and with Mr. Moss kind of slowing down, and I guess they returned Miss Onijah Robinson back home. I don't have any updates for you, but something that doesn't deserve a whole segment, but something that's noteworthy in news and topical today. There was a new species of fuzzy sunflowers that were discovered, and it's called the woolly devil, Acalava baratica, and it was found in the Big Bend National Park in Texas with bright red petals and is a member of the sunflower family. It is detailed in a study that you could further flesh out with the phytokeys in a journal. But Big Bend National Park is located in the Chihuahuan Desert. Ooh, gotta love that. That's
the Alamo.
The Alamo. This well-studied region is the largest and most biologically diverse warm desert in North America, and is home to coyotes, quail, wild horses, alligator lizards, and more. While the Chihuahuan Desert has been the subject of several botanical surveys over the last 100 years, this is the first new genus in a national park that scientists have discovered since 1976. The plant, the mountain dwelling shrub, in July was found in the Death Valley National Park. So again, it's been quite a while since any development. Now, here's a quote here. While many assume that the plants and animals within the country's national parks have probably been documented by now, scientists still make surprising new discoveries in these iconic protected landscapes. This was told to us by the author of the journal here. The team sequenced the plant's DNA and compared it with the other specimen in the California Academy. And one of the really cool, interesting things, again, is that like the ocean that we've only discovered or really explored 5% of, there is new things under our nose to be discovered on a daily basis. And this is such an one of I don't think I have the photo ready for us. Somehow I got it lost. But like this photo does it no service. These are so tiny. And yet look at how full of life. I mean, if this was 4 inches tall, you'd put it right next to your desk. But this thing is less than a centimeter. And some scientist that is combing the desert on a daily basis as a volunteer just stumbles upon this. And it's molecular. So imagine just like the grand landscape. Like for us to discover molecular, tiny little life, it takes a telescope. Well, we don't have a telescope in the middle of some Saharan desert. How much of this life have we barely even flushed?
I don't know. I think we're gonna find 1 or 2 more things if we keep looking.
Exactly.
Didn't you
One
say
or
it was
two.
red petals though? Didn't the thing said red?
Yeah. Here, I'll share the screen here because some of the HD ones are a lot more vibrant. But like, look at that.
Okay, there we go.
You
There
know,
we go.
that
Wow, that thing looks sweet.
right? You know, StreamYard has come a long way. It allows me to share pictures, but it isn't letting me share .webp files. So I still have to share these, and they're the more high definition photos. But like, look at how awesome that is. And to stumble upon that, I mean, to get paid to hike.
You know,
Well, he's
he looked
volunteer.
at it and he was just like, "What is this? Well, what is this?"
Janice, get the
And
iPhone.
you know he tripped.
Oh, yeah.
And his face was literally against the ground. Like, what is this? I've never seen this one.
I'm for sure naming it after me. No, that's a woolly devil. Oh, fine. It's a woolly devil.
Fine. What is this? Will's plant. This one's mine.
This one's mine.
I found it.
All right. So, you know, not an update, but a little bit of fun to kick off today's episode. But let's get into some hot, bigger news. You know, Mr. Beast being someone that gets a lot of attention and everybody's either a critic or a dying loyal fan. One of the things that wraps up here is a groundbreaking show with Beast Games. Now, there were a lot of complaints that came out, you know, which is natural. In just think statistics, out of 100, when you have over 500 people competing, of course you're going to have people that feel like their needs weren't met, the food wasn't good enough, you know, all these. But that's natural. I'm in charge of an office of 17 and they're miserable about keeping everybody happy. So imagine having 500 people. You want to look at them and go, did you not want to compete for $5 million? Did I make you come here to my island in the middle of the Caribbean? No, shut up.
Isn't this Beast Games? So like Squid Games, right?
Well,
think
that's
the
part of the complaint is, listen to this. One of the major complaints, lady wanting to do a class action. I was led to believe that this was going to be like Squid Games, quote. That was part of the quote. This was about to be like Squid Games, and it would be evenly matched, both for all landscapes and types. However, this was a predominantly physical and athletic game, which favored the young males. And you're just like,
Did you not see the show?
Squid Games? Like, the old guy didn't win.
Yeah,
What are we doing?
I don't recall any of the characters on Squid Games being like, I didn't feel fed enough.
Well, they also said you don't have to be here.
Yeah, I've avoided this story because like I think Mr. Beast might be the devil or this new pagan saint of reality. I don't know. I don't want to make heads or tails on the guy yet. Something about him kind of creeps me out. But yeah, I heard Beast Games. It was like, oh, like Squid Games. And then obviously, you know, I saw like some videos of like competition and it looked dumb. But I was like, hey, why not? Give the kid a show. I mean, he's got over what, $1 billion now?
Yeah. Must be nice. Well, so let's get to the story then, right? How much money is he worth and all that comes up in a recent interview. So that's why it's catching headlines. Well, the big story here is that Mr. Beast with this groundbreaking TV show, which, dude, the guy's shoveling away money the whole episode. Not only are the sets like beyond grandiose, clearly cinema level expensive, but then on top of it, every episode is like 5 little side games of, I'll give you $100,000 if you just want to quit right now. And the guy's like, yeah, done. It's like let's look at, again, basic statistics. If I'm 1 out of 1,000 whittled down to 1 of 500, anything over 6 figures, 100 grand or more, I've won.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And nobody died.
That's what I signed up for. And I'm getting out like episode 3.
Yeah.
Go have fun. So, like, there's instances where they so badly wanted this to be like Survivor.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? You turn on a season of Survivor and it turns into an emotional investment. The drama has real weight because you've now like grown a relationship with, I don't like this person. This person's my favorite. I'm rooting for this person. So when there's this drama back at the camp and Susan's talking about Bob, you have an emotional investment that makes it real drama. The problem is when you've got 500 people, and Mr. Beast has taken a lot of flack for this with his YouTube channel as of recent, there seems to be a common thread of manufactured drama because Jimmy wants the drama in his show, but he's creating shows that don't have the emotional long-term investment. They're all surface level. So we have to manufacture drama. So there's little games like, you know, for people that have seen it, there's like the game at the island. 3 people left. And it's this, you had to shift the game style to create this like drama of like between the players emotionally pulling on each other's heartstrings. Help me. Don't, that person's a bad person. It becomes this thing. It's hyperinflated. And you can tell that I'm less engaged because you're trying to create a moment where I'm supposed to feel some dramatic sense. And I'm just laughing at these people's expense. And then that person's like, I've met them within 5 minutes. You're trying to make me feel bad. Then they're crying. And I'm like, just, whoop. Sucks for you. Guess what? There's also 495 other people in the show that we're just going to click to the next frame for. So bye-bye.
Yeah, you almost want to be like, okay, 2 questions. One, is the $5 million his money he's giving them?
Well, you know what? What's your next question? Because
the next question was like, all right, it wasn't really a question. It was just more like all right, Jimmy, if you want to do it that way, have it be $5 million and like 25 people.
Dude,
you know?
So here's the game. One of the side things is an island worth $1.2 million. And they go,
what?
Oh, yeah.
You could win the island?
Time out. Because Jimmy's already done that in a YouTube show. It's already one of the episodes, a competition for an island. And it was like $1 million. And the truth is, you don't have to keep the island. You could immediately liquidate it, take the cash, and walk away. So you could take up $1.2 million, or you could have an island. I think it was Doug that was like, that sounds fun. Can't they just keep it for a couple years? The second you sign into the deed and you accept it, yeah, you can always sell it and liquidate it down the street, but now you're responsible for selling it. Now you got to get a real estate agent. You're going through the
taxes,
now it's a whole thing.
Stuff.
But upon accepting it, you could take just the liquidated amount and move on. It's already been done. But this is just a little side thing in the one little 2.5 episodes for the big grand, finale show. This is the big thing. So side island. They go, all right, there's like 500 of you. We're going to, whoever wants to, they take like 50 to go compete on this island. Here's the catch. There's only one person winning the island. That one person gets the $1.2 million island and gets to go back to the game and continue competing. Everybody else, if you lose, you're out. So you're risking now, not for the $5 million, but for the island. And if you win, you get to go back. So but you're 1 of 50 instead of 1 in 450. So the odds are a bit better, but it's going to be a bit tougher. The people that just were like, nah, I'm good. They got to just go hang out at some luxury island for probably a month, at least 2-3 weeks while they did the island recording.
Don't these people have jobs?
Dude, this is my job. I'm investing my future to be 10 of 500 people that walk away with some cash in this thing. Trust me, boss, it's worth it. Can I take the PTO? Come back to a gig? Dude. So again, think of like an all-inclusive resort. To pay for that for one person. To pay for that for all the people that aren't competing in the island. And then you're like, hey, guys, Business Insider. Turns out I lost tens of millions of dollars. Oh, so why did I talk about the island one? Because what's at stake? If you lose, you are out, right? It gets down to like 6 people left. They all, in the last competition, picked a number. So they all have a number. And he goes, here's the big twist. Starting with 1 and then going around to 5. I have $450,000. You can take it and leave right now. And then everybody...
See ya, dude! I'm out of here! And you paid for it, sucker! That is
Dude,
what?
that's exactly what I said. I'm like, I would take that and run. I don't care. That's more than enough.
$450,000? What did I just say? I'd take 100 and be like, I'm the winner! So the first guy's like...
How do the people... I want to get on this island.
Dude.
I want to play these games.
They're the guys, him and Han, like, at first, I don't know. Now it's probably, Jimmy's
This is just
YouTube
dramatic.
instinct dramatization. He's like, I don't know. Number 2 goes, dude, I would take that in a heartbeat. If you don't, I'm taking it. He's like, I'm taking it. You're like, and
First guy. I don't know. Number 30. This guy. Of course.
And so again, now you're back to 1 of 5 people. One of you's getting $1 million. The rest of you are just going home. So enough of those little side games. And then Jimmy sits here and goes, yeah, I lost tens of millions of dollars making the Prime Video series, Beast Games, as he was talking about his finances during a recent appearance on Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO podcast. While Mr. Beast Games...
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. While Beast Games, which was released in December, became Amazon's biggest series debut in 2024, Mr. Beast said making it was not a good financial decision. Quote, I lost a ton of money filming the show, so that came out of my pocket, said Jimmy Donaldson. The 10-episode reality competition sees contestants compete for $5 million cash prize. It drew more than 50 million viewers in its first 25 days and became Prime Video's most watched unscripted series ever. But then didn't seemingly stop Donaldson from suffering big losses. It lost tens of millions of dollars on that show. He said, quote, I'm an idiot. Despite his heavy losses, Donaldson, who confirmed that the show cost more than $100 million to make in total, he said he had no regrets. And again, really, even if it's a couple million, if you're worth almost $1 billion on paper and you have $100 million, you can exhaust for probably the greatest branding scheme ever. It's still worth it. It's still worth it.
Yeah.
You still became the Nike of content creators.
Yeah, but it's just
quote, for me, it was about making season 1 as good as possible. I can let the YouTube community, I'm really struggling. I can't let the YouTube community down because creators don't have a good rep when it comes to doing stuff on streaming platforms. If I fail, it's over. No streaming platform is ever going to touch a YouTuber ever again. And then just a little bit later in the podcast, Bartlett just goes, hey, are you a billionaire? And the 26-year-old content creator with more than 360 million subscribers on YouTube said, on paper, yeah. But I mean, in my actual bank account, I have less than $1 million. That's how that shit works. And I'm just your humble billionaire. All right, they've been hanging in the wing patiently. Pickle Gallery, what do you guys make of this whole thing?
Ricky, were you on that island?
Yeah, is that where you were at?
Nah, bro. I wish I would. Hey,
Look,
look, if I was on that island, bro, we all be shooting in Bora Bora right now, okay? We all be in Bora Bora rethink life right now, all right? But not that, hey, them side bets, I'll just make it far enough to just get a 6-figure side bet and just take it and just live with what I got because ain't no guarantee. 1 out of 500, ain't no guarantees in life, man. If I see something right in front of me guaranteed, I'm taking it. I'm not really a gambling man, so.
And man,
how do we sign up for these shows? How do we, as Will said, how do we get on these shows, man?
I've never
do we need
found
to make YouTube? I'm gonna start making YouTube reels. I need to be on Mr. Beast Games. I need to be on Mr. Beast Games.
I think
Please, please.
every day, please.
We need something like that.
These games.
Silent, were you at all in the Beast Games mode?
I have only seen the episodes that he released on his YouTube channel. I never got to watch the show on Amazon, but I heard that it's really great and it's a lot of fun to watch. But if I were to actually participate, I would definitely not try to win at all, because there's a lot of really desperate people that have nothing better to do that will literally sit there for months. And unless you're also willing to, do nothing but the Beast games for months, then yeah, you probably shouldn't even sign up. And if you do sign up, you should probably take the first cash prize they offer you, honestly. And you get a lot of free stuff along the way too. So
in the spirit of that, let me poll the room and ask the Pickle Gallery, and then we'll go to you guys in the studio here. There is an element that kicks off the show. Okay, so time out. I'm going to give a little metaphor to my foundation of my reasoning where I'd come out, laying the stage. If this show became huge and a network came to me and was like, we'll give you $100,000. I looked at my dad and I'm like, I'm not selling out. Bill Burr on a podcast once said, never sell out because they'll own you and you could stay independent. That means you're really got something and you should never sell out. I would never take the money. And my dad's like, you're an idiot. And I'm just like, he's like, why would you're doing it for no money right now? If you had a bucket of money, you could do a lot more. And that's a bucket you didn't have. But then you're signing a contract, Dad, and you'd be an idiot. So, okay, there's the shadow of that glimmers over this, because there's this weird dynamic. I refuse to sell out. But at the same time, look at what Mr. Beast was able to build. He's bigger than Amazon, the platform. And it was because everything he got, he put into his platform, and it just cycled into itself. It grew and compounded on itself. So it's one of those, maybe I get the bucket to put it into the thing, to get a bigger bucket, to put it into the thing, to keep getting a bigger bucket, not for buckets of money, but to get... Listen, because of recent episodes and recent, dynamics of the show, we've got more people watching us than we had 3 months ago. So there's exciting elements to this where it's for the community more than it is for the buckets. So I ask this question because this kicks off the show, and I know what my dad would do. But interestingly enough, none of the people did what my dad would do. Maybe because you're that afraid of the cancel mob that would probably come after you. But I pose you this inquiry. He has the group divided into like 4. So again, I'm going to botch the numbers here because this was background noise. That's what this show should be to your life. It should be a background noise thing that you just got playing to itself, because that is probably the level of attention it deserves. So while it's playing to itself, let's just say there's 1,000 people, 800 people, which is crazy statistics that you could be 4 of 800. But they divide them into 4 or 3, sue me. Again, I didn't pay attention. So they divide them into 4 people. So now you've got 4 groups of 100, 200.
How did they divide them?
I don't know. I don't care. Maybe it was a competition. I wasn't paying attention.
I know how.
How?
The he, she's, theys, and thems.
Oh, Mr. Beast. One of them's represented by Chris, or what's the person's name?
Chris.
Yeah. Woo. All right. So they divide 800 people into 4. There's 4 groups of 200. They're all hanging out. And now they're left to pick amongst themselves a representative. And, Jimmy starts flavoring it with, make sure it's someone that you can trust, a good representative. You're giving them everything and they're going to be representing you and blah, 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 blah. So now these people are like, Susan, we're putting all our faith in you. And she's like, you can trust me. I'm not going to sell anybody out. I'm here for the people. I'm one of those. And they're like, okay. So they get the 4 representatives. And Jimmy goes, okay, I'm willing to give the representative $1 million to cut out their team. Just push this button, team's gone. Dude, no one pushed it. No one. Out of 800 people, that is the luckiest polling of people. I would think statistically 95% of people are like, boop. And you picked 4 out of 800 that are like, I can't do that. I'm here for the honor of my family. That could be a millionaire. Your little daughter could be a millionaire, but I don't want her seeing me on Prime Video looking like a scumbag. It blew my mind. To me, thank God I'm not in that space because I'm telling you on the internet, I wouldn't push it. But damn,
I mean, you could ask some first, but
yeah. What are you thinking, Ricky?
Look, is this a competition or is this like our family retreat? You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
So like, I came here to compete for some money. I'm gonna compete, and if I have to do a little sneaky, that's part of the game. You know, you want drama, you will get drama, buddy. I'm sorry.
all right, that's fair.
Silent, what do you think?
Yeah, honestly, it all really depends, right? Like it depends what kind of situation you're in because I think going into these games, let's say you have a target number, right? Like let's say I want to make $10,000, right?
Sure.
And if Mr. Beast only offers you 1,000, but you decline, and then like, a day later he offers you like 30,000, right? You're obviously going to take the 30,000, right? Because you had 10,000 in mind, right? So if I were to hypothetically go to a Mr. Beast competition, I would of course have an X amount of number in my head before I even go in, right? Me personally.
And let me feel you out here a little bit. Where does $1 million fall on that scale?
Well, if I was in that situation, I'm taking that $1 million.
Okay. Will, what are your
I was like, Silent, you're out your fucking mind if you don't take that money. You want to know what the best part is too? I'd be such a dick about it. I want to view it like I'm not famous. You'll never see me again, and I don't want any press coming to me and talking about it. I don't look at all of them and be like, you nominated for me for this. You chose me to do this, and I'm taking the money.
Yeah.
Have a good trip home. He paid for it.
Mhm.
We are talking about $1 million. You're competing for 5 times more you could ever dream of. And you're getting that by going to a competition where, oh my God, maybe I'm in a delirium of definitions. Did I say competition? Like maybe we're living in equity land for too long, but in the world of competition, that means there are losers. And it looks like I found 100 of them right there. These folks, you picked me. I'm taking 100 losers home. It's over.
You all picked me to win.
Which is Survivor.
Yeah.
Survivor, it takes a month of intimacy for 12 clowns to make me a millionaire.
I know none of your names, but you all know my name. I'd have been so out of there.
And the truth is, in the spirit of that, like, you guys, we kind of danced around the bush, but like think of like Swifties. The humans of the hive are so sensitive and scary that like I'd be concerned with being the one of 4. Here's the thing. The second there's this guy, the guy that's like him and Han, he's like, fuck. Like, I think everyone held out because you don't want to be the one guy. But the second you've got Billy, and he's just like,
And you brought up Swifties too. I was like, so I started thinking about them. They would have nominated Taylor, and Taylor would have been like,
That's the greatest point. She'd sell them out in her. Oh, none of my fans win again. They never do.
and they'd stream her album the next day.
Yeah, crying to it.
She was so real for that.
Yeah, she's so real for that. Wow. So, Mr. Beast lost millions.
Doug, I'd ask you, but I know you're taking the money.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, Doug, what are you taking? Dougie
I'm
Fresh.
taking the money and run. That's more money than I could dream of making, probably. So
Woo!
I take it.
I would.
I'm surprised.
They all said no. What cucks?
Yeah.
I hope you walked out
I think-
with $30,000.
I think the reason people say no is because if you live in a big city the average house in most big cities is way more than $1 million. So people have this like
That's
very
pennies to me.
warped up.
Dude, can we agree the guy
Very-
that's like, it's pennies to me is not competing at Beast Games?
Right.
He's like, I've got millions. I actually don't need to do a rat race on a beach with a bunch of clowns.
Oh my god.
Here's the funny thing is it becomes a hard played piece of the social dynamic. Back to Jimmy's manufactured drama is you've got these folks that there's this competition amongst folks that don't even know each other. You met them 2 seconds ago, and I guess let's land this plane. Let's bring it back to the guy made an amazing marketing scheme, Feastables everywhere. And that's probably why they didn't like dinner, because dinner was, today is chocolate peanut butter Feastables.
No, it's mold. And for breakfast, you're going to get mold.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
I love that they went there, were given that opportunity, and they were like, the food sucked. Shut up. Shut up.
Right.
I hate you.
So it's a great pillar for like content creators. It's great to see that.
Yeah.
But it's also just this laughable moment where this guy can do no right. Videos of curing the blindness of 10 tribal cities in Africa. They're like, boo. Boo.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Nerd. What a dork.
Yeah. All right. Before I get to my wrapping thoughts, though, Pickle Gallery, Ricky, what are your thoughts?
I think he probably make his money back. I don't know why he's complaining. Like after a year or so, he's gonna make his money back, and then next thing, he has the money. He's good. If I was one of those people, I'm being cutthroat. I ain't got time for it. Like
Facts.
we're here to compete. We just go in there blind. First offer, take it. We out. We're gonna have a good vacation.
Oh, we out. We out. Silent, what are your rapid thoughts?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a very skewed perception of what $1 million is, because a lot of people live in big cities and they can see what $1 million, like what kind of house it gets you. So they're like, nah, I'm going to stay and compete for the 5. But in reality is you can build a lot of wealth with just $1 million, just $1 million. You know, it's actually a lot of money. And most people don't really seem to understand or comprehend that, like how large of a sum $1 million actually is. Like there's people that will work their entire lives and won't even make like 10% of that.
I'd love to get 10% of that. And imagine what you could do with 10% of that.
Dude,
Right.
They were offered 20% of that, and they all said, not today.
I'd like
Jimmy.
to stay here just a little bit longer.
Going
and
for the
complain
5.
about the facilities.
God, they pissed me off.
I know, but you know what?
Going for the 5.
Impressive all around. The guy knows how to entertain. As I emphasize, it is definitely background noise, not something that I'm like itching to watch again. But with a lack of swirling content lately, it's a perfect, like, you know, mindless turn off and kick and relax. That being said, Jimmy, at some point it's going to get boring. It's the same thing. Fortunately for him, there's a market that just loves it. And this is exactly what they want. So give the people what they want. At the same time, the bigger you get, what we're seeing is the backlash just gets even bigger. You've grown to such a large scale that you've been able to absorb tens of millions of dollars in loss and mentally compartmentalize it as, well, but it's for the brand.
It's a tax write-off.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, boom, damn, I didn't even think, damn, I hate you for that. Wow.
Yeah, he just bitched on a podcast that he has a huge tax write-off now.
Wow.
And then at the end of it, he's like, yeah, I'm a Billy boy. Like,
I'm a Billy boy.
why do you think I started
on
this off?
paper.
Why do you think I started this off was, I can't tell if he's evil or the next pagan saint. Like, I don't know, but it
Which
pisses
both
me
of
off
those
either
would
way.
be evil.
I'm not happy about either. My hope is he makes so much money, he just disappears. Like with the backlash, like once it gets too much or like you get bored, just kind of drift away. I wouldn't blame him.
We could only.
He could actually disappear with that money.
Oh,
Like,
easily.
literally just.
You could buy a couple countries.
If I saw Mr. Beast in person, I'd be like, that's a dude from Walmart. Like, this isn't like the most recognizable of people. I'd be like,
Backpack Kid grew up.
Backpack Rig grew up, and then he hosted a bunch of people on an island. And 4 of them said no to $1 million.
Man, you hate to see that. All right. Well, I'm done with Mr. Beast. You're boring. Dude, get it together. Congrats to you. I wish I had that money. I'm hitting the button.
Get it together to the Billy Boy.
Yeah, get it together. Get it together. Doug, rapid thoughts.
I wish I could go on that show because they complain that it's physical, but it's like sounds like you got
Doug's
offered
a
money.
physical
No,
specimen.
you say that though, but it sounds like you got offered a chance to get money at every turn. So it's like, screw it. That's more money than I came here with. You
They ain't
know?
offering it to you.
Dude.
They're offering it to like the threats in the competition. Like, hey, really giving them a run for the money. You just won the last 2 competitions. You want to take $450,000? Doug's like, I'll do it. They're like, no.
I do.
I would be all on board, though, if his next show was a Fortnite-style thing and he dropped people onto an island.
They have to learn how to parachute.
Oh, no. Like, then I would be like, you know what? These people became super qualified at something to do this show. They're almost deserving to be on it.
Dude, paintball with Navy SEALs. And it's Fortnite style. So
That's
the
what I
guns,
mean.
The guns are down there, paintball.
Yeah.
They drop from the sky.
Exactly.
Battle bus in.
And
Well-
then he just had 500 idiots on a television show, and he was just like, at every turn, give him $50,000.
Hey, so cheers to the folks on X and YouTube and Twitch joining us right now. You need to be the pillar that helps us get to Jimmy Donaldson style level. We will make you Navy SEAL Fortnite. I will do that.
Or just get us on his next show.
And Doug will sell out in the first round.
I'm right there with him. Push a button, $1
Get us
million.
on this show so we can sell out as quick as we entered.
$1 million, push a button. Later. Later. I'd buy security for these psychos that might try and kill me now.
Hey, cheers to them. All right, so let's get to our next topic here. This is going to be the dense one. You know, exciting news for Ohio as we crown our new king. Vivek Ramaswamy preparing for his campaign trail to become Ohio's next governor. I think that'll be beyond seamless. And
When is that election? 2 years?
Doug,
It's next year in 26, I believe.
there you go.
Cool.
That's what I would have assumed. All right, so again, crowning our new king. But while there's just Ohio excitement flourishing around this evolution with Vivek, even more so, it's an exciting moment for everybody, and we're going to get into what it means for everybody. One of the major pieces of the conversation is going to revolve around merit pay. So I'm looking forward to parsing that apart. But first, here is just a clip of Vivek making his big announcement.
I'm honored to announce my candidacy to serve as the next governor of the state of Ohio. President Trump is reviving our conviction in America. We require a leader here at home who will revive our conviction in Ohio. And that is why today I am honored to announce that I am running to be the next governor of a great state at the heart of the greatest nation known to mankind, the state where I was born and raised, the state where Apurva and I raise our 2 sons today, a state whose best days are still ahead. I am honored to announce my candidacy to serve as the next governor of the state of Ohio.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country to start and grow a new business. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country to raise a young family. I'll lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where our kids get a world-class education in math, reading, writing, critical thinking, and physical education. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where we give our kids the toolkit to think of themselves not as victims, but as victors in a competitive global economy. We will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country where we embrace capitalism and meritocracy instead of apologizing for it. We will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country.
I don't want to bore us in it. He continues to go on and on. I'm going to lead Ohio in this. I'm going to lead Ohio in that. I didn't know this was a competition. Like, I love that, Ohio's one big troll and, Ohio skibbity riz, baby. But at the same time, this is one hell of a hidden oasis. So as much as I love the excitement of bringing Ohio back to make Ohio great again, we've had a faux Republican governor for the past, I don't know how many terms.
Say 4.
Yeah. So,
At least 4 years.
the mayor of Munchkinland has been in charge of us as a wolf in sheep's clothing, pretending to be a Republican, but truly a Democrat, bends the knee to the mechanism whenever necessary. And definitely, I haven't seen really any legislation, especially as of recent, that puts people before corporations and government interest. So it's exciting to have someone from the ground that has a passion and a mind to only the people on the ground. That being said, I want to circle around the same drain. This isn't a competition. And while I want that to be the goal, it definitely shouldn't be the goal that transcends like the nation. Be number one, but also like this, again, this isn't a competition. So we shouldn't be the worst education in the state, but we're not trying to like compete in that respect.
Yeah.
Here's an exciting truth, I guess, if you want to call it. But Vivek Ramaswamy is running for governor of the great state of Ohio. I know him well. Competed against him, and he is something special. He's young, strong, and smart. Vivek is also a very good person who truly loves our country, who will be a great governor, will never let you down, and has a complete and total endorsement. So the president himself endorses him. So, if this is the anecdote that comes with him having to remove himself from Trump's cabinet, I could get excited about it. And again, I saved you from a minute more of like, I'm going to make Ohio the number one in this
It's him posturizing for a speech. Like, so I'm not going to blame him for that.
Exactly.
But I'm with you on that. I don't necessarily view it as like a competition from state to state level. But in terms of this state's competition for governor, way too early prediction, but I think it's going to be a blowout.
Give him the crown. It's
Yeah,
over. It's
really
over before it even started.
Even without Trump giving the endorsement, I think it's going to be a blowout.
10 times over. Now, that being said, he's a bit of a showman. We're riding the excitement of the last election, but it's usually, and this would leaving MLK Day this month behind us, there's important pieces that we must get excited about, and that's judging people on the content. And it's not just the name worth getting excited about, but the policies themselves. So when the president comes out with the hard wave of Doge behind him, clearing out all the dead government fat that we've been carrying for so long, he says, I have the full intention of eliminating income tax. I could get into it if anybody's interested, but taxes didn't come into this country until about 1812. That came during the War of 1812, and all it did was reinstate tariffs and particular taxes to fund military efforts. The Civil War led to the creation of the first federal income tax under the Revenue Act, which in 1861 was temporary and had a low rate. 1862, the federal government established the Internal Revenue Service to collect our taxes. And that comes in, I don't know, not even 50, 60, 65, 70 years after we just were like, I'm pouring tea in the water because this shit's getting crazy. And it's like, bring it back. We really can't do anything without it. And again, that's a whole nother conversation. But the income tax was then repealed after the war, but tariffs and excess taxes remained the main source of revenue for the government. In 1894, coming in the late 19th century, the U.S. introduced another federal income tax through the Wilson-Gorman Tariff Act, but was ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in 1895. Big deals. In 1913, the 16th Amendment was ratified, giving Congress the power to levy a federal income tax without appointment among the states. This led to the passage of the Revenue Act in 1913, which reestablished the federal income tax. Woo! So all the people that have been calling me freaking crazy when I was like, yeah, it was somewhere like around 1920 when they brought income tax into existence. This was it. In 1913, they were like, no, actually, we forgot we can't do that. And then just 70 years later, they were like, I think they forgot.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
I think
So in 1913, we get income tax back. In World War II in 1941, 1945, the government expanded the income tax significantly to fund the war effort. A large number of Americans began paying income tax as withholding from wages was introduced. So thank the World War II for that one. In 1950 and 1960s, the U.S. maintained a progressive tax system with top income tax rates of around 90% during parts of the 1950s. So for high income earners. In 1964, the Revenue Act of 1964 significantly reduced income tax rates, with the highest rate dropping from 91 to 70%. 1970s, inflation began to affect the tax rates as more people fell into higher tax brackets due to bracket creep. The late 20th century, coming 1981, the Economic Recovery Tax Act was passed under President Reagan, which reduced the top income tax rate from 70% to 50%. So, hey, at least it's going down, and reduced tax rates across the board. In 1986, the Tax Reform Act of 1986 further simplified the tax code, reduced the number of tax brackets, and lowered the top rate to 28%. In 1993, when we were just so blessed to be brought into life,
94.
the omnibus...
Yeah, 94.
Oh, you're outnumbered, bitch.
Well, guess what? While you guys were
You brought in some bad news.
Stardust, I was brought into this life knowing that the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act under President Clinton raised the top income tax rate back to 39.6%.
You ain't black.
Wendy.
21st century, 2000s to present. 2001, the Economic Growth and Tax Relief Reconciliation Act under President George W. Bush began reducing income tax rates, including cuts for high-income tax earners. 2003, the Jobs Growth Tax Relief Reconciliation Act extended tax cuts and reduced the tax rates on dividends and capital gains. Oh, no, and the fun doesn't stop there. In 2009 and 2010, in response to the Great Recession, President Obama extended Bush-era tax cuts for most Americans, but allowed higher rates for the wealthiest taxpayers. In 2017, the Tax Cuts Jobs Act under President Trump significantly lowered corporate tax rates from 35% to 21%, and temporarily reduced individual income tax rates, including dropping to the rate of 37%. Dude, that started at 91%. Trump was able to get to 37%. Nice. 2021. Awful. President Biden proposed increasing taxes on corporations and the wealthy as part of a broader economic agenda, but major changes to the tax code have not yet been fully enacted. So that's kind of where we're at. So keep in mind, this is like a new evolution that's just like we take as law of the land, but again, first, the president says, I'm going to make it a goal of mine to get rid of income tax. Bring it back to the Vivek. Rhymes with cake. I know that because he did an M&M rap. He, in his announcement, came out and said, it doesn't matter if Trump does it or not. I'll do it for Ohio, and everybody else could just watch us not pay income tax.
To bring down the income tax eventually down to zero, because you deserve to keep what you earn. It is your money, not the government's.
That's right.
We need to bring down property taxes in this state immediately. Eventually down to zero. If you own land, it should not feel like it's a lease from the government, and yet so many Ohioans are paying as much in property taxes as they are on principal repayments on their mortgage. That is wrong, it is un-American, and it will end one way or another on my watch as your next governor.
piggybacking off of that, don't forget the number of states that still had landowners paying real estate taxes while they were putting an eviction stay, barring them from kicking out leeches on society. But that's neither here nor there. So before I flip it to the guy, the homies here in the studio, Pickle Gallery, what are your thoughts on this whole deal? Vivek like cake. Ricky, what do you think? You're an Ohioan at heart.
I'm all right. I'll move back. Massachusetts is one of the freaking highest.
Just to vote.
It's one of the highest tax states, man. They tax the F out of us over here in Massachusetts.
That's what you get for being neighbors with Biden.
And for
you want to share an island with the homie? That's what you get.
True, but like, hey, if Trump take away income tax, I'll fuck with it. Right. Whatever to keep a little extra money in my pocket, I'll take it. Whatever to keep a little extra money in my pocket, I'll take it. Shoot.
Silent, what do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, whoa. You can't pause for that long.
Hey, I remember I said in the group chat, like, if he does this and I don't know if we're not going to talk about it, but the $5,000 refund thing every year or two.
I was going to bring it in.
If he does that, bro, Democrats better like assassinate these niggas or something. I don't know. They'll win it again. They'll never win again, bro.
Okay, if everybody gets if everybody that pays taxes, right, functioning member of societies, get a check for $5,000, and I get to double my paycheck, no income tax, it just doubles, and I've already got a mortgage in a world where nobody had double their paycheck. Like the housing market, everything's going to inflate, but I was kicking myself. Because it's a seller's market. Interests haven't recovered since Biden. I'm paying double in interest rates on my mortgage than what other people were paying during the pandemic. Because when the market was down, man, it was like 1 to 3%, and I'm here paying 6 to 8%. Could you imagine being locked in at a house in this market where it's at currently? Freeze it. Everybody's losing half a paycheck. Boom. This cost at 6%, I don't care, whatever percent. And then you double the economy's paycheck. All the functioning members with play Monopoly money doubled their play money. Everything's going to be impacted, but my internal echo chamber of life, like it's one of those, like, get a house, like get a mortgage before this goes away, because you're going to have a little insulary bubble of before the world doubled the Monopoly money playing in the game, and now I'm going to live high on the hog. So it's like, how do you recover from that? How do you look somebody in the inner city that's like, wait, you're telling me the big bad evil racists that gave me a paycheck during the pandemic, then you took control and were like, hey, we told you we'd like to do those things, but we can't. I don't know what he was doing. You can't afford eggs when we're in charge. Eggs were good when he was in charge, but for some reason it's our pals. Our pals are just asking for too much money. I gotta give Ukraine way too much money. I'd love to cut you a check. I know you've got poisonous water. I know a hurricane just butt mucked you, but I just don't got the cash. And then this guy walks in, he's like, I cut all the dead weight. I'm going to give you $5,000 and I'm going to double your paycheck. But I hate everybody. How do you recover from that?
Easily. They just hate. They just hate him still. You know, they'd get the $5,000 check and go spend it on dinners and stuff like that, hating on him still. Yeah. And be like, he foot the bill. So I love it. I love knowing that this is a potential thing. We could get this check and that they still hate him. And we can all just look at him and be like, okay.
What a delirium.
That's what I mean. It's like, is it going to change their mind? No, 100% not. But I don't see them recovering from it, though.
At all.
How do you recover from
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And you're supposed to be the party of the people. And yet your starving people have never gotten anything from you. Even your programs, it's like, oh, I've got all these hoops. Jump through them. Oh, shit, she jumped through them? Well, denied. We watch that with like someone within our circle. Inner city single mom, you're just like, She's working her ass off, goes through all the hoops, and then they're like, sorry, the phone is off the hook. Yeah. Like, it's just, you suck. And then you're going to look at that inner city single mom and go, hey, we cut all the dead weight Sallys off the porch and we could give you $5,000. Zoinks. Like,
Yeah. It's crazy to watch everything kind of unfolding. You know? Like, it's kind of like every day you're like something new. And then I just start doing this a little bit. And I'm like, wow, it won't stop.
what I love is the winning doesn't stop. And every day
Hasn't stopped since November 6th.
continues to win. Like another one, since we're on the subject. Can you believe it? Elon Musk is just taking so much control. He's commandeered the government. Shadow president. And it's like, that's how much you don't listen to us.
$5,000 check.
You clearly don't listen to anybody from the other side because we understand your positions in their entirety.
Yes.
And how shallow they are. But it goes to show how little you listen to the other side because for 6 months leading into the campaign, it was like, oh, no. The orange asshole, we're not voting for him at all. We're voting for Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., and Elon Musk. And they're like, did you see Tulsi Gabbard, the Russian agent? I checked the box. I was there. But RFK, he's getting rid of poisonous food. I know. I checked the box.
Yeah.
So it's this shadow president. It's like, dude, he's not an American that legally could run. And he's not enough of a criminal villain to doctor a fake birth certificate like your president did. And I love that Trump was that guy the first go around like, yeah, check out the birth certificate. And they're like, asshole. And now the hottest topic right now is how we're learning that was a doctored document. And if they prove that in a court of law, that he is not a naturalized birthright citizen of America, everything he did is now void. Everything with that signature, gone.
And I like how probably small his signature was compared to like
Trump's big black
Trump's
marker.
like every time, like right here. You can't read a damn word on this thing but my name.
But my name. So we cut the Pickle Gallery out early. Silent, what are your thoughts on this thing as we unfold a little bit more?
Yeah, I think Vivek definitely has the great idea and he's saying the right things. But will he actually do any of those things he's saying? Who knows, right? Only time will tell. Now, there's a lot of politicians in the past that have done this, right? Where they like make massive promises and they talk the talk and they go crazy during the campaign. And then when they're actually in office, they don't do anything. So is this going to be one of those cases? Who knows, right? Only time will tell.
No,
I think.
Yeah, please keep going.
I think cutting income tax is definitely something that we need more of in North America. Taxes are just way too high because for what we're getting in return, we're not even getting like half of what we used to get like 10, 15 years ago, services wise, especially here in Canada. So I don't know what it's like over in Ohio, but I'm sure you guys are probably not getting the services you used to get 10, 15 years ago as well too.
No,
I'm assuming.
You're very right. I mean, we've only got trains that tip over into our watershed and then we're just like,
Right.
Look the other way. The guy in charge of it is taking photo ops as a pregnant man in a hospital bed. God, we love Buttigieg. But you brought up an interesting point, Will, and I don't want to totally escape it. I'd like to address it just a little bit. One of the things you mentioned is the compartmentalized, infected mentality of the other side of this whole scheme, where they'll take they will cash that $5,000 check, and they will sit at dinner cutting a steak going, that bastard. So it's one of those, how can you, like, I love when people confront them. He's racist. Point to the one thing you hang on. And it's either a dead issue that's been disproven, or they go, I don't know. There are so many videos of people on the streets interviewing, and nobody's got an answer. Elon Musk is bad. Why? Do you know how many videos of that I've seen in the last couple of weeks of just like, he's a fascist? What makes him a fascist? Can you point to one thing that if it isn't the my heart goes out to you thing, they've got nothing. And well, they just got me now too. I was given an example. But see,
Guilty by association.
that's what I'm saying. These guys are sticky wickets. But in regards to the mental gymnastics of the infected, did you see breaking just yesterday? Some guys, I think it was New York, he's on the streets. And are you familiar with Joy Reid?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Did you know Joy Reid lost her show?
Yes.
And, because there's no audience there and people are sick of you.
I'm praying The View is next.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. So they removed her. She's in this like video crying of like, my poor followers, they're going to be left out to dry and gobble ghoul. Well, here's what's funny. She was caught on the street by this guy. And well, I'll just let the video speak for itself.
Wait, just wondering, do you think people with Trump derangement syndrome know they have it? And second question, did you steal Trump's haircut or did he steal yours? Cultural appropriation haircut right there. She didn't like that too much.
Wow.
He gets her for stealing Trump's haircut. And do you think people with Trump derangement syndrome know they have it? You're a fucking idiot. It's perfect.
That's the best answer.
Got him.
Yeah. But like, I mean, that question right there, it's like, do I think they have? No, like they fully believe. And, shit, like, don't let me change your mind. I don't want to waste my time trying to do that.
Well, it's like having bad breath. Everybody smells it but you.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like we all know
Ooh, I
what you
like that
got
one.
cooking
Yeah.
but you.
Yeah.
And the sad part is you could be the head of an entire business and everyone around you thinks the other way. You created an environment where nobody can question you. And so your ideas are never challenged and you just get to believe. And it's a delirium that never gets challenged. Here's how you know your breath doesn't stink, right? Keeping with the metaphor. If I continue to challenge myself and continue to challenge my ideas, I know I'm not holding on to poisonous or stinky ideas because I continue to run up to people and can you smell my breath? Because I don't need to be right. I just need my mouth clean. So, and every time I have a mind stimulating, idea challenging dialogue, I know somebody smelled my breath. Mm-hmm. And at least this person's saying it ain't stinky. And the more of those I have, the better and stronger my ideas become. Mm-hmm. But they don't do that. Their breath smells like poo-poo. And every time I ask people to smell my breath, they say my breath smells like poo-poo. So instead of doing something about my breath or continuing to challenge that, I'm just going to stop having people smell my breath. And the people out here smelling breaths and having dialogues, I'm going to shut them off because I think people will find out I got stinky breath.
Yeah.
It's a sad world. So one last final topic that hangs on the Vivek Ramaswamy piece as he excites Ohioans. But this is a grander, bigger one that I've been dying to address here on the Rethink Tank, and it is merit pay. When I was in grade school, it was something that I was significantly passionate about. I went to a public school, and here is the universal law I experienced as I would write papers and challenge teachers' ideas. I loved talking about and explaining the need for merit pay. You know who fucking loved it? The best teachers I'll never forget. You know who hated it? The dead fucking weight that should never have caught a paycheck. So the idea alone weeds out the truth. And so for those at home that are going, all right, you're going on a diatribe here, kid. What is merit pay? Merit pay, also called pay for performance, is a compensation system where employees receive a salary increase or bonus based on their individual performance, meaning high-performing employees are rewarded with higher pay compared to those with lower performance levels. It's a way for companies or organizations to recognize and incentivize top performers. So again, if you want to attract high performance, reward high performance, create a system where competition flourishes the best, merit pay would be the system, especially in education systems where folks tend to become complacent and they tend to at the end have a poor and sometimes infectious impression on our youth, aka our future. So first, here's a clip from Vivek Ramaswamy's speech where he's talking about enhancing the public education system, and then I'll take that into a merit pay clip.
Level to the level of Arizona and Iowa, so every kid, no matter what zip code they're born in, from the inner city to our rural communities to our suburbs, can get the best possible education they can dream for themselves, and that includes not just private schools and charter schools, but even homeschooling as a viable option for parents who desire it. But today I'm going to go further. There is a can of what great conservatives have been doing across the rest of the country, and in some cases we need to catch up, and we will. But we're also going to lead the country in making sure that our public schools are able to compete and equipped to compete with the best of the alternatives. That means, first of all, that our kids are safe in our schools.
Get it out, Vivek.
As your next governor, I will ensure that we use our dedicated base of police officers to ensure that we have at least one of them in every school in this state with the proper training needed to be there. Thank you. And I've met many of those police officers.
All right, so that's just talking about public enhancement across the board, but then he transitions that directly into merit pay and our education system itself.
Actually showing up to school. We have a chronic absenteeism problem in this state, and it's only gotten worse after the COVID-19 school closures. I will pledge this to you as your next governor: never again will we bend the knee to an Anthony Fauci knockoff who allowed our public schools to be closed.
Who is also ironically running too.
It's unacceptable. She owes those kids an apology in our public schools.
He made that comment.
We're going to stand for the achievement of our students, from the sports fields to the classroom, to pursue excellence in every domain. And to that end, I will lead Ohio to be the first state in the country that adopts the most common sense reform required to allow our public schools to compete. We will be the first state in the United States of America that implements merit-based pay for every teacher, principal, superintendent, and administrator in our public schools. We're going to lead the country. Let me be clear. I'm not going to seek picking a fight with the teachers' unions, but I will do whatever is required to stand for the achievement of our students. And let me also be clear about this. Our best public school teachers actually deserve to be paid a lot more than they are right now. I think of Mrs. Kinney for me in the 6th grade at Robert E. Lucas Intermediate School, Rellis, in the Princeton School District, not far from where we are right now. Great public school, had a magnet program. I switched into there in 6th grade. She caused me to see in myself things I didn't know I had in me, the potential that she unlocked by lighting a fire under my feet, to actually believe in myself, to achieve the things that I would have otherwise imagined impossible. She changed my life. I don't think I would have lived the American dream without her, and I would be thanking her here in person today, but for the fact that she died in a tragic accident a couple of years ago.
Sam?
We need more teachers like Mrs. Kinney. But we're not attracting the very best anymore because there is no meritocracy in compensation. With merit-based compensation, Ohio will be a magnet for the best educators across the country. We owe it to our kids that the very best...
So there's a lot of merit to that point. You attract the best. Competition requires the best to surface. There's a lot of pushback on these points. So I want to flush out a lot of the common contentions on both the pro and the negative side of merit pay, and then I'll flip it to the Pickle Gallery. So looking at, contention supporting merit pay, there's incentives for teachers' performance, and that's kind of the first and most pivotal point. Merit pay rewards high-performing teachers, motivating them to improve their teaching strategies and student outcomes. Now, a contention against this, and we'll get to that, a lot of people say one of the major problems against merit pay is how do you measure this? And so if the measurement is a test or a state exam, well, then you're incentivizing teachers to teach the test and not actually knowledge gained. But that is a term that I coined that I want to emphasize as I create an argument. The thing you're seeking out is knowledge gained. And I think that is a measurable goal. In addition, it attracts and retains high-quality educators. Competitive salaries based on performance can attract top talent and retain the best teachers in the profession. It also improves student achievement. Studies suggest that performance-based pay can lead to higher student test scores by encouraging effective teaching methods. It also encourages innovation in teaching. Teachers are more likely to experiment with new teaching techniques and personalized learning strategies if they know their efforts will be rewarded. One of the other major problems that comes from teachers in the mundane routine, you've got a teacher that has taught 10th grade chemistry for the 15th year. They are going to, now it's putting on a play that is 7 months long. It's the same act. It's the same lines. They do it every time. And so there's no innovation. It gets stale. It's just walking through the motions. I'm recycling the same worksheets, the same assignments. It also promotes accountability. By linking pay to student outcomes and teacher evaluations, merit pay ensures that educators are held to accountability for their effectiveness, specifically their effectiveness. When you've got teachers that linger because of tenure more than anything. I mean, that was probably the major point in every paper I spoke about was tenure. For those that don't know what that is, if a teacher works at a location for a certain period of time, once they reach that period, you can't fire them beyond like a violation of the employee handbook directly to meet just cause and actually be so. And you can't even just release them and go, yeah, I'll pay, unemployment. Nope. That this person has a job locked in, and that bars new, younger, more excited minds to come in, maybe compete with them, and it locks in some dead weight. But it's not all dead weight. Many tenured teachers that I had were some of the greatest that I ever had. But there were also a slew of tenured teachers that didn't belong to be catching one of our public paychecks. Additionally, it aligns education with other professions. Many industries reward employee based on their performance. Applying the same principle to education modernizes the system. It also increases teacher effort and engagement. Teachers may work harder, spend extra time with students, and seek professional development opportunities if they see direct financial benefit. And something that we'll come to on the adverse to this is and Vivek makes that very clear. These folks are not paid enough. So on the inverse to this is, I'm also going to have to require a system that has enough of the finances to create that incentive. Part of the problem is you've got teachers, those that can't teach. Well, that's because there is no incentive of the citizens of doctor, engineer, lawyer caliber to go into this profession. There's no financial benefit to a brilliant mind taking on this role. So most of the people that do take on this role are those that can't do others. So it's one of those, create a system that incentivizes the best and you'll get the best. It also encourages data-driven instruction. Teachers will be more likely to use assessments and analytics to tailor instruction and improve student learning. It's almost like you don't have time to get in the weeds of indoctrination of racism and transgenderism because, doggone it, I got to get math in your brain. It also reduces inefficiency in tenure-based systems. Merit pay challenges the idea that pay should be based solely on years of service, which may not always correlate with effectiveness. It can be tied to school-wide gains. Some merit pay models reward entire schools, fostering collaboration while still incentivizing high performance. Now let's get to some of the contentions negating merit pay. So we got to have a balance of the dialogue. It encourages teaching the test. Teachers may focus excessively on standardized test preparation rather than fostering critical thinking and creativity. Additionally, fails to accurately measure teacher performance. And this one I think I could fight. Students' performance is influenced by many factors beyond teachers' control. This is where the other side of the debate comes in with the claim of mitigating factors, those factors that we can't control that may hinder the teacher's ability, including socioeconomic status, parental involvement, and learning disabilities. It also harms teacher collaboration. A competitive pay structure can discourage teamwork and the sharing of best practices amongst teachers. And I think there may be some value to that. It increases stress and burnout. Performance-based pay adds pressure to an already demanding job, potentially leading to higher teacher turnover and mental health issues. It creates unfair pay disparities. Teachers in wealthier schools may have an easier time achieving high student outcomes than those in underfunded districts, leading to inequitable pay structures. But that is why the system that I would propose would emphasize, as I said earlier, knowledge gained, because one of the things that they love to harp on is, what about the teacher that gets to have the honor students versus the struggling students? Well, we need to acknowledge that the honors student teacher may be able to accomplish more, but at the same time, it's easier for them to do. Whereas the teacher with the room full of dyslexic kids that have a hard time reading, man, climbing even just a few steps is a mountaintop for these kids. So that's why I would want to emphasize knowledge gained and not the actual curriculum itself. Additionally, they would say it undermines the value of experience. While merit pay emphasizes performance, it may undervalue the benefits of experienced educators who mentor younger teachers and contribute to a long-term school stability. Well, as the other side indicated, if time experienced in any way contributed to the strength of their teaching, then damn it, measuring them on their merit should be no problem. Yeah. In fact, the deck is stacked in your favor. Additionally, it's difficult to implement objectively, which this is where I think, the minds that would make this a flourishing system, this is the recipe. This is the secrets in the sauce. If you can do this and make, Kel's sauce, this is where it's at. So difficult of implementing objectively. Determining what qualifies as merit is challenging, as evolutions can be subjective or biased. But I do think that is avoidable.
Evaluations.
What did I say?
Evolutions.
Yeah, well, see, moving quick.
It's okay.
Evaluations.
It's okay.
It's true. Diverts funding from other needs. Merit pay programs often require additional funding that could be used for classroom resources, infrastructure, or student support services. I don't buy that, especially if the funding is willing to be its own thing coming from its own entity to support this system, then it wouldn't impact any of the other funding delegations. And just a couple last ones here. It can lead to corruption or manipulation. Teachers or administrators may be incentivized to inflate grades or manipulate testing conditions to secure financial rewards. There's some merit to that. Fails to address broader issues in education. Merit pay does not resolve systemic problems such as underfunding, large class sizes, or inequitable access to educational resources. So right there is kind of, I wanted to give a full scope of both sides of the argument before we take the time to actually parse it apart. So bringing in the Pickle Gallery first. Ricky, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
First day, give them a test. The teachers don't know about it. The state send it in. First day, boom. Last day, the end of the year, give them a test. See, knowledge gain. Boom.
I think
because they have the curriculum. As long as the teachers don't have a way to access the questions and teach them just specifically. But it sounds good. The con sounds bad and the pro sounds great. Like it's just one of those things you have to implement and see what happens. Like, take a 5-year study, see what happens. And plus, school don't really do creative. They teach you the curriculum. Like, there's no really, certain classes, yes, but not your all around. Is just what they got. That they got their curriculum. This is what they're gonna teach you. This is what you gotta know this week, and got a test in a week and a half.
That's a fair, blessed assessment. I appreciate that one. Silent, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, definitely. If you pay teachers more, of course, the quality and the standard is going to be like raised by a lot. We pay teachers a lot over here, and a lot of our teachers are unionized too, so they get a pay raise like that beats inflation pretty much almost every year. And we have some of the best you know results that show the kids in this province in Ontario have some of the best, like, in math and science and all of that. It's because our teachers are paid like the best in the entire country in Canada. So I think Vivek's definitely on the right track. Ohio will for sure be a much better state if the teachers are taken care of, because guess what? Teachers are taken care of. They're going to take care of the kids. And then once the kids are more educated and have higher grades, they're going to get into better universities or better colleges. And then once they get a better college, they're going to get a better job, and so on and so on. And you could see like how it's like a chain reaction once they have that good foundational education.
No, I love that assessment as well. Getting to kind of the crux of the whole thing. I want to share a clip because as this being an intimate subject to me, why is it an intimate subject to me? Because I went to a public school in Ohio and I saw some incredibly beautiful diamonds in the rough. I mean, I think I'm surrounded by people that hold special tools and skills and special minds. And it was crafted in this same local community I did. And there are particular people we could point to and say they had a piece in that. They were a part of what made this great. And they were able to carry us through the teachers that were absolutely exhausting, wastes of space, wastes of breath. I had a teacher in 8th grade that came in half in the bag and hammered way too much. We literally caught, it was an old high school where our middle school was, and I caught her smoking cigs under the chemistry hood in the lab vent because like, I mean, talk about top tier degenerate. And I'm trying to compel my dad. I'm like, Dad, this is the worst person at this role ever. And again, what is something that came up in my whole explanation of the balance here, the pros and the cons? An element you can't control is that my dad made a stronger household than yours. Like, that sucks for you, but like, I had a dad that was hyper involved and was demanding the most.
Yep.
And so I can then go to that resource that is an engineer mind that would benefit the molding of our future minds 10 times over, but you didn't have the financial structure for him to even bat an eye your way. And that man who created two brilliant minds, a lawyer and a doctor, to sit there and go, this guy, please read this chapter with me, and then I'll bring you the test. And when the test is a totally different chapter on Mars, so far from this, you feel vindicated when Dad's like, this is bullshit, confronts the teacher. The teacher's like, shit. Did I give the wrong test at the wrong time? The fuck? I'm just like,
Blue ribbon.
oh, but hey, blue ribbon. And she's tenured. She's tenured, baby. We're carrying her to the end. She's here for the long haul. No. How about the young whippersnapper that comes in and is just grinding? Or the lady that has been there for 35, 40 years having a front row seat to the other assholes that are just getting carried through it. And she didn't lose an ounce of her spark. She still shows up every day creating greatness, stronger than the young or the old around her. She was the best. Why does she not deserve more? Especially when we all admit we're scraping the bottom of the barrel what we're giving them to begin with. Oh, yeah, you want to decorate your classroom? You want to provide the students with a strong, paperwork, tools, pencils, all that. Yeah, you got to pay for that. What? I'm telling you. All right. So, here, this being something intimate to me because I had a front row seat to the chaos and watching, it's kind of like doing Our Father in front of somebody who's possessed, just like The Exorcist. Like, you bring up merit pay against an idiot who's teaching and knows deep down, they won't tell themselves they're an idiot, but their soul's like, shit, dog, we are retarded. When you slip merit pay their way, just kind of like a cartoon, smells pie, just merit pay goes past their nose, exorcism. But the second the person that's incredible at molding minds and creating the future had an impact on every person they blessed. Watch a starving public school teacher start salivating. I have a front row seat to dumbass Janice for the last 15 years. She's tenured. And you're telling me I could get a bonus? Yeah, I'm taking it in a heartbeat. So I cast this next little piece of the segment with this disclosure. I concede 10 times over, this is coming from what has become a dampened resource. There's a shadow or cask of shame that comes with this resource. But what's funny is this political representative made an impact with me before all the shame came with it.
Okay.
At the peak of this person's political experience, they were an authority. They brought New Jersey to its highest heights. I loved being able to quote this there's so much. This person has given so much content on this. And so we go back 20, 25 years to see this clip back at his sharpest. Now he's about 300, maybe 400 pounds heavier. But we're going to flip this to Chris Christie, who caught the mind of a 16, 17-year-old Alexander Gergat, and boy, spoke a religion of truth I have yet to shed. So this is Chris Christie giving his explanation on why schools need to be implementing merit pay.
Nowhere else in American society do we believe that everyone should be paid the same just for getting up in the morning. Teachers in New Jersey get a raise in September when they fog up the mirror. You're alive, you get your raise. Whether you're outstanding, whether you're average, or whether you're ineffective. And why do we want a system like this? Well, the reason, of course, is because if we had a system that actually paid people based upon merit, what purpose would the union serve? This is a self-preservation move, everybody. And the way they justify it is they tell you that evaluating a teacher is too complex for all of you. It's too complicated. You won't get it. You don't know how to do it. You need a PhD in education to evaluate whether a teacher's effective or not. Let me see by a show of hands here. How many of you in this audience today have children at one time or another who went to the public schools? Raise your hand. All right. Majority of the room. So, how long did it take you at the beginning of a school year to figure out whether your kid got a good teacher or ineffective one? Like probably by back to school night, right? And if you didn't know it by back to school night, you found out on back to school night. You go to back to school night and you're walking in the hallways trying to find your kid's classroom, and you run into one of your friends who has a kid who's a year ahead of you, and you say to him, hey, by the way, who's your kid got this year? And you say, oh, well, my kid's got Mrs. Smith. And the person goes, oh, well, good luck. Or you say to the person, oh, no, my kid's got Mr. Jones. You go, oh, Mr. Jones, he is so great. He's there early in the morning to help the kids, and he stays after school. When you call him or you send him an email, he answers you right back. The kids love him, and we love him, and he did such a great job. Let me tell you, don't buy the baloney these people are trying to sell you. We know who the great teachers are. We had them. All of you in this room still remember a great teacher who helped to mold your life. And all of you remember a lousy one you had that you couldn't wait for the year to end. And you figured that out when you were a kid. So how is it that we're not smart enough to figure out which teachers should be tenured and which shouldn't? Which teachers should get merit pay and which shouldn't? Why do we need a panel of educational experts, by the way, self-interested educational experts, to make these decisions on our behalf? In fact, they don't even want that. They don't want decisions made at all. The last argument, of course, against merit pay is that it destroys camaraderie in the schoolhouse. Now, this is the one I love the most, and this is the one that you should laugh the hardest about, because here's basically what they're telling you, that if you pay merit pay, it will destroy camaraderie among teachers. Okay. Now, you hear that, and you say to yourself, well, yeah, maybe, right? All you need to do is think of one example for about 45 seconds, and you realize what crap it is. Let's try this one. Let's try our 3rd and 4th grade kids again. Kid in the 3rd grade, straight A student. And his 3rd grade teacher says to his 4th grade teacher in June, when he finds out who the kid's going to get for the next year, oh man, you are going to love this kid. He works hard. He is engaged in class. He's always raising his hand. His homework's always done. It's done meticulously. He's a participator. He's a winner. You're going to love this kid. You got lucky. You got a good kid. Well, we get to like October of that next year. And the kid's doing C work. He's not engaged, doesn't seem to be enjoying himself in class. The homework's sloppy. Teacher knows there's something wrong. So the teacher goes back to the 3rd grade teacher who had such success with this kid and says, listen, I'm not reaching him. What kind of things did you do to reach him? To believe the teachers' union argument that merit pay kills camaraderie in the schoolhouse, you have to believe that the 3rd grade teacher will look at the 4th grade teacher and say, yeah, no, I can't tell you. What, mean you don't know? No, I know. I'm not telling you. Well, why aren't you telling me? Well, because, see, we get the merit pay thing, and if I keep you down, then I got a better chance of getting the merit pay, and so I can't help you. Now, let me ask you a question. You know of any teachers who would actually do that? And their union is selling this story on them. They accuse me of running down public school teachers. Merit pay tells you, I believe in teachers. I believe they want to be excellent. I believe they should be compensated for excellence. And what the union believes is that they should be treated like any assembly line worker. That's wrong. And it's ridiculous. Because to believe it would be to believe that there's no camaraderie at Microsoft and there's no camaraderie at General Motors. There's no camaraderie at Boeing and there's no camaraderie at Facebook. They're all competing for merit pay every day. But they tend to still be able to move the companies forward and achieve what they want to do. But for some reason, we believe in education that's not possible.
A lot of truth weighs in those words. A couple things. First off, cameraman must have cerebral palsy or something because that just didn't stop. Just goes the whole time. But
he's doing it by hand. He's
still great content. Bad video, still great content. Yeah, he's just a guy holding a cell phone, trying his best. But when it comes to the heart of the points, things that need to be addressed, well, this is going to have a negative impact on low-income communities. It's not, especially if you implement the system in which the way Ricky suggested. If you are doing it based on solely knowledge gained, in fact, again, talk about like the harder hill to climb. If you're having kids that are walking into your classroom, disrupted backgrounds and everything else, who can't even read, and you are able to have a connection with them better than anybody else that has experienced those communities, the reward is going to incentivize the hot toddy teacher that's kicking ass in Miami to maybe consider going to Baltimore because the incentive is there. That being said, we kind of were chatting during that clip, and one of the things that Will brought up that totally struck a point with me, and I'm like, I think they are going to resist merit pay as much as possible. We have a tech administrator at the court that I work at, and one of the things that he always says is these entities, especially Democrat entities, they want statistics. They want the numbers.
Yeah,
we're paying all the money to collect all the numbers and do the thing. But the thing they detest They fear and shame and hide from analytics. They want statistics, but they don't want analytics because they want the numbers, but damn it, they don't like what the numbers tell them, right? 13%, 80%, you know, that whole fraction. It's a whole funny number people hate when you talk about. But when we talk about the statistics, just wait until we get the statistics of merit pay and they're like, shit, all the hot teachers sleeping with their students are doing the best.
Wow.
You hate it because it's true.
Wow.
I mean, you got to be real. You were way more awake and paying way more attention in Mrs. Miller's class than like Mrs. Schumacher's. You're just like, is he? I'm awake. What do you want, teach? I brought you an apple. I hate apples. I got it.
That's the fuck. It's true though.
And that's what I'm saying. So, you know, we have some fun, some yucks. I do think the numbers might say something though. And truthfully, maybe this is worth curating because the numbers will say something. Is it going to say all the hot teachers are the best? No, maybe not. That's just a funny anecdote, but it might. But it's definitely going to tell us something. And that could tell us what works, what doesn't, how to adjust, how to excel in areas that we're failing in. Things that I think need to be addressed. Okay, so the low-income communities, I think when you create an incentive-based system, it draws them actually into the more difficult communities. And while the hill may be higher to climb in these types of communities, it incentivizes those most apt to do it. Next, they'd want you to have to address, and I would agree as I'm kind of theorizing this and talking it out with everyone here, one of the things that does hammer or hit home is competition amongst teachers. I mean, Chris Christie nails it. This doesn't stifle success at Microsoft. This doesn't stifle success at really any other corporation. So it shows incentivizing the best to excel and rewarding performance does pay off in a competitive sense. So first, like Ricky said, man, if all the good contentions work, it's great.
Yeah.
But some of the other negatives sound pretty bad. So it's like, if you take this at face value, a teacher competing against a teacher, and it's like, ha, 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 you're not going to know what works teaching them solar systems. So that's a bad thing. We like it when teachers come together and go, this is what connects with students. This is what we need to use. And he's talking about solar systems. While on its surface, I agree. Oh my God, that's a problem. At the same time, now that teacher has a significantly stronger incentive, one, to outdo you maybe, but even more so to be the best at it. So I don't get to just kick back. You know, Mr. Smith, he loves the solar system. And Mr. Smith, he does all the research. I'm going to wait for him because we confer, you know, because the union loves that. We protect it. That's where the future lies. I'll sit back and wait for Mr. Johnson to tell me what to do. Here, I don't get to just sit back and wait for Mr. Johnson to make the next step in the science department. Mm-hmm. No, I have to be on top of my game. I'm trying to, where competition at its surface first gives you the knee-jerk reaction of, ooh. At the same time, force people to be their best, and guess what you end up getting? Maybe at the behest of the worst, you get the best. That's what you get. So I don't know. I want to flip it to the Pickle Gallery because me and Chris, the big bellies, we've had a lot to say. What do you got for us, Silent? We can't hear you. Oh, now, yeah, gotcha.
My mic was muted. Sorry. Yeah, it's one of those things that has clearly worked out in other industries, and I'm very surprised that it's taken this long to even be discussed in the education sector, because I know a lot of universities also do that as well, where based on how well your students perform and based on how many people you have actually passing your class and actually learning and taking the test and like getting a certain grade on the test that they take at the end of the year, you get a bonus. Every time a student gets like B+ or A-, you get a bonus, and then you get extra pay each year that gets increased. That's how it was at my university, at least. I know a lot of other universities are like that. That's too. Great. But I'm surprised that this is not really much of a thing in most schools, really. And I'm glad it's
very
being
foreign to
discussed, you
Americans.
know? Yeah, I'm very glad it's being discussed and being brought up because it definitely should be something. Because think about it. A lot of teachers already work so hard when their pay is crap. So imagine if you actually compensate them handsomely and then you tell them that when they do better and when they do really well, they're going to be compensated even more on top of whatever they're being compensated. Like think of all of the positive things that can happen. And that's just a win-win for everybody. The teachers want to work harder. The students want to pass and get really good grades too, so that they can, especially if they like teachers, support the teachers. Like, yeah, I like Mrs. Smith. I'm going to get an A+ in her class because I know she's going to get a bonus because if I get an A+, you know, like
Fair.
that was the case for me, you know, a lot of really,
So real quick, are you saying you're like,
I'm serious. Like
I
a lot
hate
of
Mrs. Johnson. I'm
a
failing this
lot
kid.
of a lot of really good teachers I had, I worked extra hard in their class because I knew they were gonna get a good bonus at the end if I did well.
But you got to always
you know?
think the totality
So-
adverse. Are you not worried about somebody purposely tanking just to kill Mrs. Smith's? She's buying too many
See-
pies.
See, I thought that was the case, but then it's like when the teacher does such a great job and you actually come to class and actually pay attention, actually understand, and actually learn, how can you even be mad? You know what I mean? Like you can't. You just can't. It's impossible.
I would love though if
What?
a bunch of kids just tanked a teacher.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that would be hysterical.
Yeah.
Ricky, what are your thoughts on merit pay?
I got more questions than answer or even solutions.
Yeah,
like
let's hear it.
how okay, the money. Yeah, keep me like this. I like this. Like I'm talking to you. Who get this money? Okay, the district get 250K, right? Boom. It's from pre-K till 12th grade. How much does each teacher get? Like I have more questions than
So again,
you know, and
I love you making this point because here's the strongest point when it comes to merit pay. First, it's called breaking the seal because, like as Silent kind of indicated, this is a totally foreign subject to everybody. Vivek is quite literally, I think, the first American politician I've ever seen talk about merit pay beyond Chris Christie. When Will goes, hey man, Chris Christie doesn't look that skinny here. You know, it's fun. It's like, yeah, that's still 200 pounds ago. So when you look at Chris Christie, you go 200 pounds ago, 20 years ago, he's the last one to make a hard push. I'm an Ohioan, excited for the country, drawing upon the last politician hailing from the little dangly thing of New Jersey. Like, you know what I mean? This is such a foreign subject. So First, you want to break the seal, make people aware of merit pay, get people talking about it, because guess who's the only people in this conversation? Teachers unions. Yeah. And when they control the dialogue and make sure you're ignorant to it, they get to hide from the reality check that merit pay inevitably brings. So first, it's making people aware of it. It's making this a common dialogue. Make the person that one goes, man, I hate the education system, and I really, really hate when Orange Man is just, defunding the education department and ba-da-da-da-da. And it's like, but what do you know about this subject? Nothing. Okay, so let's get you a little bit away from nothing. Give you just a little bit of something, which is a consideration of a totally different system of doing this. One, cut all the wasted money that's just being dumped in the lost corners of the ethos of our education system. Hone it into where it matters. Performance. Good damn performance.
Okay, so this...
And then me, you, bright minds that hopefully one day the people elect to allow us to consider these ideas. But the truth becomes, how do you want to make this work? There's a lot of details, and I love you scratching this itch because there's a lot of details that need to be ironed out. Amongst those is what it should look like. And in that little hiatus as we're listening to Chris Christie, one of the things that he emphasized that I'm glad you presented the opportunity that I go, I need to emphasize this. Again, when we start this brainstorming of the best way of doing this system, you're gonna hear multiple iterations, and I don't want to turn those out. I want to get excited for hopefully one day hearing other ways of doing this. I've thought on this quite a bit, and this would be how I would do it. It needs to be a bonus system. The second it is these people's pay, that's where you get cutthroatery. That's where this becomes a tainted system.
Mhm.
Create a basic pay and then create a bonus. And if I really want to negate the potential for competition, where a teacher intimate to this same department is trying to cut another arm or diminish the opportunities of another colleague so they could flourish. How do I fight that problem even more beyond just the bonus system? My suggestion would be a school bonus. So you do an independent, individual, statewide bonus for teachers at each school or across. You got to do it for each school, obviously, because they're not getting paid enough as it is. So bonuses for the school independently for each teacher. And then a large bonus for the school itself. We chuckle at being the blue ribbon school, but if you could continue on a cyclic basis, show knowledge gained across the board, even the bottom rungs are still doing the bare minimum enough that beats the others, there's your reward. I want to be the best in the school, but I also need to be the best, this school to be the best.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you negate that problem. It should be in a bonus presentation. And
dude, you just like worded it like they're like NFL contracts.
But they should be. I mean,
Like
is
a
this
little bit,
America?
yeah.
Where are we? Like,
I'm with it.
I'm not in communist Russia. Like,
I mean, Ohio just voted to get rid of the non-compete stuff.
yeah,
Like, you can't have that in a contract no more.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? Do we agree?
Yeah.
So getting rid of non-compete clauses. So keeping the market competitive. So that way your employer, like, it's not even just ensuring we have the best employees. Now it's requiring that your employer keeps conditions competitive with the market you're in. Wow, that doesn't sound too terrible.
No.
So, we might need to get to a point where we land this plane because I have one raunchy, disgusting game to welcome Ricky back to the show with. So, Silent gave us our thoughts. Ricky, do you have any other final thoughts?
Nah, I was just going into details. Like, if they come up with these and bringing us to the ideas, they should like have some type of example and proposal. But we didn't look in it or nothing. Like some type. Give us some type of format to look at while you break the glass seal and get this in our brain.
All right, so I give you.
Yeah, you did. All the questions I had.
What do you think of that version of it?
That's it. That's perfect. Because everything you were saying, I was like, yep, the school. If you want to take a rate competition, make sure the school get a bonus as well. And trickle down.
Trickle down. I like that. All right, so I've clearly made my whole thought kind of the thread that has seamed this merit pay topic together. So I flip it to you, Will. What are your wrapping thoughts on this whole thing?
You kind of summed it up. I mean, I'll be honest. I've never really considered merit.
Doug.
I've never really considered merit for it. Like, but I never, I guess, like, analyzed my teachers like you did back in school. But it's probably, kind of tells a story of me. I just didn't care enough. But now that like I'm older, it's like I like the idea of treating them like NFL contracts, and like after like 2-3 years, they're up for free agency. You like send them to another school.
Yeah, well, and again, that would be when you present the problem of inner city communities that would be the opposite problem.
Right.
They'd actually have the most cap to bring in the best talent.
I love it.
It's true.
I love it. James Washington High School. He drafts someone from Brecksville. I love that.
Yes.
Just watch it. You get like a newspaper and it like lists where they're going.
Mrs. Crow goes from Brecksville to Glenville.
Yeah.
I'm here to kick ass.
I have faith in her. She'd be able to do it.
She'd be the. Here's the
Absolutely
truth.
nail it.
And for anybody listening, go check out the Rethink Tank podcast, our podcast that comes out bi-weekly. And one of my favorite episodes to date is my geometry teacher, who quite literally, Mrs. Crow, would be the richest lady on this planet. I don't think there's a student that had her, regardless of demographic or education level, that wouldn't tell you she was the greatest mind crafter ever. Mind crafter.
Yeah,
ever.
I didn't have her.
Yeah, you got cheated. And guess what? In a world where merit pay incentivizes greatness, there would have been a greater push for you to experience people like her, if not her herself. Doug, wrapping thoughts.
I mean, I can definitely think of some teachers that shouldn't, like, you know, just like you've mentioned, like I can think of teachers that deserved it, and I can think of teachers that don't
Should be
deserve their
kicked.
job. Yeah.
Kick the can.
And Mrs. Crow, though, she was one of them. Loved her. And like, it's not like she was like she taught any differently. She was just a great teacher. She like taught. She actually taught.
She taught me life.
Yeah, she
Miss
actually.
Takata.
Yeah, she was just like a teacher, but like I don't know. She was great, like unanimously, like you said. So there are teachers out there that deserve more. I don't think it will really ever happen because the unions pretty much are too powerful.
But okay, there,
So-
Doug, let me wrestle with that point. I want to wrestle that with you a little bit. You tell me the unions are too powerful. So let me flip the question back to you. Would you not then also agree that this even more incentivizes a need for it because you just said they're insanely last level Bowser too strong? You're telling me that doesn't mean we shouldn't, I don't know, rein back the power of the teachers union a bit? Like that's where the dialogue around tenure and everything else, that's the crux of it is.
Well, I think we should get rid of tenure, but like the union will still be a thing though. Like it's there for the teachers, so that would still be a
Unfortunately, I
thing.
don't
So
know how
even
to
if we
get rid of
got rid of tenure somehow in an agreement, union's still there. Union's going to have a say on all the contracts. They always want more money. They always want to make sure every teacher in the union gets their fare. Problem is like they always threaten they'll do a strike. Honestly, let them strike. I think schools could find enough people that want to do that would be a teacher. Hell,
I
I would
disagree.
teach history. If Brexville went on
don't think
strike
so.
tomorrow, I'd teach history. I'd be all
I
for
just
it.
disagree with we'd find enough teachers. We wouldn't. Like
Why
there-
plenty
I-
of schools go on strike? And
Well, no, I
survive.
feel
But what
like
I'm saying is when like they would go on strike, if they were like to stay on strike, you wouldn't find enough like willing
But
individuals.
and that's why the union has the power, and we can't see it go away.
Exactly. So unfortunately, it's like the union will always be the stepping stone, but you could not stepping stone like the block,
the hurdle.
but like you could like implement like the bonus system in with the union as well. Like they would obviously want a piece of that to a certain degree. You know, unfortunately, but like when it comes down to it, it's like I think majority of the teachers are against merit pay, and that's why it's not never, but like that's why it's always going to be the biggest hurdle to get to it.
So let me give you a little peek behind the veil of the political mind I have been able to develop and why I should get your vote in some distant future. Who knows when? But I deserve your vote because would be my political approach. We all agree, both sides of this argument, teachers are underpaid. Like I will die on the hill. You have lost my sister's the most brilliant person in my orbit. You lost her. You could have incentivized her. She probably would have been incredible. You lost her. Why? Because pennies in crafting the future beyond six figures being a pharmacist. So that person's never picking this starving scheme you have. So we agree that is a problem. That is a embedded element to the system we're talking about. And Doug and Will raised the point that there is a negotiating table with an infinitely powerful teachers union that is the hurdle, the guard that stands between us and implementing some fantastical future system like this.
They're like the mob. Like I called the union of the dock workers. They're like the mob, man. They don't get what
I
they
agree.
want. They shut it all down.
So with that infinite level of strength, the mobster is standing between us and what I would see as a fruitful academic system. My solve would be we all agree, both sides, this is a starving field. The only way to implement it is money. You can buy merit pay into the system, which means, what do I mean by that? You need to be able, you're saving all the money with the Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be a better and more effective allocation of costs. We need to accept that the system needs repair, and the repair is only going to come with money. That's really how government works. So the way to conquer the negotiating table with the last level boss that is infinitely powerful is giving them money to the degree that totally disarms that negotiation. If you walk into a world where you're literally raising the tier of the public school teacher, ergo allowing the space to demand a higher caliber teacher, also attracting higher caliber minds that otherwise were looking beyond the field because it just didn't compensate them to their caliber. You have now conquered this problem. So you need to have the system accept that it is a starving mechanism. Therefore, the way to get this new system is to buy it by filling that starving hole. So I think if we can, the acknowledgement allows the political power for the dialogue to demand more money in this field. So we need to demand more money in this field. That allows the contractual dialogue to be disarmed when we have to go to the negotiating table with the teachers union. Interesting side dialogue. Wrapping it all up, this stems from Vivek Ramaswamy. And what makes this so exciting, from the folks that aren't in Ohio, outsiders looking in, something that I'd like to give you from our, intimate domestic perspective is we have the mayor of Munchkinland, who is the current governor of Ohio, and he is the definition of a wolf in sheep's clothing. Since the pandemic, I've had zero respect for this human. I was so lucky I was sick the day he showed up at the court. I probably would have gotten myself in trouble by saying something, because we are so removed from the delirium of what that period was like that we've given this guy a pass he doesn't deserve. Dude, you were a crook in so many ways, and we kind of let it go because we were scared. We were scared, and the noise was so loud. So we kind of just let it go. Well, I say that because I've said forever, red, blue, doesn't matter. They're all fingers to the same hand. And you see how Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, people that are in the middle, you put them in the boxes. Trump was a voting Democrat that had to go Republican because they were shut. Like, you are forcing Tulsi, who was a Democrat, to leave the Republicans. RFK wanted to run as a Democrat. It's one of these, the people that are closer to the middle seem to be the most real. And the others, the extremes that, are mouthpieces for the mechanism. While, yes, you vote red, but then you hear Dan Crenshaw speak and you're like, dude, that doesn't represent any of our beliefs. He does it just enough to be able to wear the red jersey. But the truth is, it's so clear he's not one of us. So when I talk about the wine, the mayor of Munchkinland, it's like, dude, you wear the jersey. That's what got you where you're at. Your actions clearly showed you are a wolf in sheep's clothing. You are a blue in a red jersey. And if you were to run again outside of the pandemic, there's no world you're winning. Vivek walks in and we are all just like, oh yeah, here's the keys to the kingdom. Not even a second thought. And the reason is because we're surrounded by all these faux representatives. So I want to close this dialogue on Vivek with a clip I have here. This came out just yesterday of Dan Crenshaw storming out of an interview with a hot mic, literally saying he would unalive Tucker Carlson.
I met Tucker.
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll probably kill him. He's the worst person.
That's insane. And to me, that's a real threat. I don't know why we would even let anybody, let alone a representative, get away with that. So again, when these are the only actors we've had available to us to represent us, it shouldn't be a shock to anybody when we just leap at the first glimmer of realism, because we've seen none of it. Like, this is the guy that wears our jersey, but he said he'd unalive Tucker Carlson. What did Tucker Carlson ever do to you? And you know what? Hats off to that clip that I just showed, because I don't know, I guess I pulled it away too quick. I don't know if you saw the comment that he had, which was, Tucker literally tweets back at him, dude, I'll have you on the show. Like, yeah. You want to come talk? You want to come, don't kill me, but you want to come talk about it? Come on the show. So it's a slimy thing when these people try to portray themselves in such a way, and we give them too much of benefit of doubt because it allows us to ignore when they don't act in line with those representations. So that closes the political dialogue here that we've ended it with. And now I'd like to get excited about, we're going to get to, Ricky, you haven't been able to compete with us for a while. We've had these, it's been two and a half months. So I had to make sure we had a game in the socket here to end the episode with.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's always a fun theme that's like in something along the lines of the episode. I couldn't do that. I wanted something dark, raunchy, off the wall. I needed to welcome back Ricky. I wanted Ricky kind of closing out the episode on,
Dude, I'm looking
why
at
am I back?
I'm looking at like what is a multiple choice question.
Yeah, well, don't.
I can't
Jeez.
read the answers. I'm
Jeez,
blind. I can
Sagish.
hardly read the screen. But I just see like bubbles. I'm like, it's a Scantron.
I made sure I came
Maybe-
back for the last week of Black History Month. You feel me? Parts of the people.
All right. So I've got 12 questions. 13 would be a tiebreaker. I'm trying to avoid 13. It may be less questions because I haven't totally vetted them. Here's the deal, folks. I went to ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to create this game for us, and she made us quite a went in a totally different way than I kind of thought it would go. But this is raunchy. This is not Rethink Tank, but it's not. This is so not what, but it is a welcome back to Ricky.
All right.
Ricky, this one's for you. All right. So don't forget the name of the game is Dirty Mind or Dirty Questions. No, Dirty Mind, Dirty Questions. It's just both. It's both. All right. Ready?
All right.
One first. Yay.
Yeah. Will. You're
God, I always hate going first. All right. Let's do it. What do they call an illegal?
Holy.
Yeah, you got to go check out last episode to get even a glimmer of what Will's talking about. All right, first question.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
What percentage of married couples admit to having a side piece? I'm going to give you multiple choice. Is it A, 10%, B, 30%, C, 50%, or D, 70%?
30. I'll go with B, 30.
Oh, that was
It's-
my guess too.
Do you want to know what it is? It's 50%.
Okay.
That's crazy.
All right.
50%
Well, I mean,
of
it makes
married
sense. They
couples
said
have a
50
side
Well, they
piece?
say 50% of marriages end in divorce, right?
Whoa!
Yeah, I guess like, wow, I'm
I
an
guess the
idiot.
numbers check out.
Yeah.
Numbers
yeah.
check
They
out.
get found out.
Yeah. All right, Dougie Fresh, we're coming to you. You could steal a point here, come out on top. Doug, which popular sexual position is known as the doggy style?
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's his first question?
No, this is not it. Because you want to hear the A, B, C, and D. I'm not taking this. ChatGPT, you suck. What is it? A, reverse cowgirl. B, doggy style.
I was gonna say, D, cowgirl. I'm like, did you give the answer in the question?
ChatGPT, what are you doing? Man, we needed a human involved. But you know what? I wanted to be able to chalk something up to the tech. And this is where it gets us. All right.
Double.
This one I did remember. All right. Doug. I can't believe that. Let's read that again. Which popular sexual position is known as doggy style? B, doggy style.
That's why I'm like, is that a
Okay.
question?
I will
Yeah.
go with A, reverse cowgirl. Final answer.
All right, Dougie Fresh. What is the most popular sexual fantasy among people? A, threesome. B, dominance and submission. C, being watched. Or D, getting freaky in public.
I'll go with A, threesome.
It's actually B, dominance and submission. Now, I thought this
Interesting.
was like a no-brainer because it's two.
I thought
Like there's a
public,
whole
too.
population of people that want to be dominant, and there's a whole slew of people that want to be submitted. And it's like a 2-for-1, bigger population. All right, going to Ricky. Ricky, my guy.
What's up, man? You got a lot of Diddy questions up in here.
Welcome back.
You brought me back with all the Diddy questions, bro.
Dude, I brought this back just for you.
All right.
Sincerely. So Ricky, which famous celebrity is known for raunchy tweets about their love life? A, Nicki Minaj. B, Snoop Dogg. D, Rihanna. D,
Wow.
Cardi B.
Do that again.
Cardi.
Do that again. You screwed that up.
A, Nicki Minaj. B, Snoop Dogg. C, Rihanna.
There we
D, Cardi B.
There we go. You
Cardi
said
B.
twice.
Ricky's got the first point. It's Cardi B.
Yeah, of course.
know-
Cardi
you
used
know
to be
the
a
only-
stripper. She's the only one that's on the internet. I'm like, yeah, my pussy this, my pussy that. I'm fucking him. Like that's all.
She's also the only political scientist to interview the soon to then be president-elect Joe Biden, who did his campaign from his basement. He only did one interview, and it was political scientist Cardi B, who is also on a raunchy ChatGPT game show known for being the celebrity for the most raunchy tweets about their love life.
Yeah, their interview looked just like the screen right now.
Wet?
Yeah.
Oh, you're too much.
It took you long enough.
I can't believe you did it. You did it. Well, Ricky's got a point. He's dominating you all. All right, Silent, coming to you, my friend. Again, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Okay. Which body part is most commonly associated with booty calls? The chest, the lips, the butt, the legs.
The butt.
This might be a surprise. You're right.
I legitimate had the only legit question.
Oh no, Ricky had a good.
I had a question.
It's only a hard question if you're not tapped into the culture.
I can't wait till mine's another statistics question. Like, all right, now what percent of the population? Great.
You ready?
Great.
What is the most commonly searched dirty, quote, dirty term on the internet? A, corn. B, threesome. C, fetish. D, BDSM. What is the most commonly searched, quote, dirty term on the internet?
Can you read them off again?
A, corn. B, threesome. C, fetish. D, BDSM. And technically it's P instead of the C.
A.
It's actually B, threesome.
Now it's threesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say
now
now.
it's fucking
Welcome back, Ricky.
Number
All
one
right.
fantasy, wasn't it? But it's the goddamn most searched one.
I thought, this was the best way to welcome back someone that escaped us for too long. We needed an overdose, not just a little dose, an overdose. So, Doug, coming to you. Let's see if you could catch up to Ricky here. Which of these items is most likely to be found in a, quote, kinky bedroom drawer? A, a vibrator. B, handcuffs. C, feather duster. D, candles. Feather duster. Yeah, that's an oldie. Reaching way back in the archives.
I'll go with B, handcuff.
Doug's getting points on the board. All right, Ricky. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is all for you.
I'm here for you. Here for your
I want
freaky
you long enough
questions.
going like, oh, dude.
I'm here for your freaky questions, bro.
All right, Ricky, can you keep your lead and continue to dominate this dominating dialogue? Which of these is considered an edging technique? A, giving a back massage. B, bringing someone close to climax but stopping before climax. C, talking dirty. B, blindfolding.
Come in close and touch it without
B,
busting
yes,
and then
yeah.
busting.
Yeah.
You
I
feel
don't know
me?
what
And you,
ChatGPT
you
was
had the
on.
edge, you had the edge to bust it, but you didn't bust it. You feel me? You just reel it back in. You edging it. You edging it. You feel me?
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Ricky.
Ooh-wee.
I like how the questions are either like real legit questions or like, could you define this term?
Yeah. and Will's getting like stumpers.
I'm getting like, yeah. Well, oh God, that pissed me off.
Yeah, well, maybe Silent can return the favor here. Silent, we got an opportunity to get yourself on the board. What is the most common reason people cheat according to surveys? A, lack of trust. B, lack of intimacy or sexual satisfaction. C, boredom. Or D, emotional connection.
C, boredom.
It's actually B, lack of intimacy or sexual satisfaction.
I actually
I would've got
thought
that one.
B, but I was like, C might be it.
I would have got that one.
It was either
Either
B
way.
or C. Yeah, it was either B or C. So
No one thought we'd go here. We went here and we lived here. Lived in the game. Coming to you.
Okay.
Final round. See if you can make something happen. Which of what is the most famous item sold in adult stores worldwide? A. Lube. B. BDSM gear. C. Vibrators. D. Lingerie.
Oh God! What the fuck?
Welcome back, Ricky.
Why? Why am I getting like the what's the most famous thing or what's the most useful thing? All right, so it was lube, BDSM, vibrators, or lingerie. What's the most bought? Is that the
Sold.
question? Sold. They're all big sellers. Fuck. This is dumb.
Throw a guess out there. It's multiple choice. You have 25% chance. Will.
Oh wow, Doug, shut the fuck up. Fucking Christ, what's gonna be used the most? Lube.
This one to me was instinctive. Doug, do you want to try to steal it?
No, don't give him the fucking
No, he's
point.
not getting the point. It's vibrators.
Oh my God,
Which
mine
to
was.
me is pretty instinctive.
Well, you guys got to
Ladies-
remember, Diddy's been out of the game for a while, so that lube.
He had a lot of lube, dude. So I was like, he bought a lot of it.
Clearly, people are using truckloads. All right, Doug, if you get a point here, you'll be the only one able to catch up to Ricky. So let me ask you. Oh, okay. I guess that's what we're asking. What's the most common position for a one-night stand? A, missionary. B, cowgirl. C, reverse cowgirl. Or D, Dougie's favorite, Dougie style.
Teach me how to Dougie.
I'll go with doggy style.
It's actually, and this should be instinctive, A, missionary.
I never got like an instinctive goddamn.
Eye contact. I want direct eye contact.
I'm gonna look at your soul and never see you again.
You know, Ricky, I want to give you an opportunity to just sweep the board, nail in the coffin. Can you dominate the whole game? Because this is Ricky's welcome back, so it only
Hey.
seems appropriate.
Hey, as they say, I'm a 69 god. You know, you heard Kendrick said it, so
What are these
Team
people
Drake.
thinking?
Team Drake.
A minor.
I don't know about that part.
Which of these pop stars has made headlines for their sexual liberation and openly raunchy lyrics? A, Taylor Swift. B, Lady Gaga. C, Katy Perry. Or D, Megan the Stallion.
Are you kidding?
Is that really a
Just
question?
get it wrong.
Oh
Just
my
for a
God.
joke, say Taylor Swift. My God.
Yeah, the girl that said she got shot in the foot by a guy that she was fucking
Wait,
her
what?
friend.
Hold on. Tell us that story. Unpack it.
Are you
Culture
serious?
us. Yeah, what?
Are you for real?
Stallion,
You're
you aware of
so
this?
white.
Yeah,
Ah, This is like
enlighten-
3 years old, bro.
Hashtag free Tory.
Stallion.
Hashtag free
Yeah,
Tory.
Tory Lanez, free Tory Lanez, the Stallion. Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion said Tory shot her in the foot when they were leaving Kylie Jenner party. Megan was fucking her friend. Tory was fucking Megan's friend, and fucking both of them behind each other's back. Yeah, bro. We don't do gossip, but that was court. That was in the court. That was in the court transcripts and
He's in
everything.
jail.
Well,
Yep.
Ricky,
Oh yeah, he's in jail, and he was just rapping on the phone yesterday,
Yeah,
and a
Literally in
fucking
jail for this.
fucking
For
shit
that reason.
broke off. A bra broke off behind him.
You're telling me it wasn't Katy Perry?
in my mind, it was.
Hey, she kissed a
She
girl,
kissed the girl
and
and
she
we
liked
all
it.
liked it.
Yeah.
We all liked it. So, that closes the game out.
Silas got another question.
Ricky swept it with 3.
Just let him
And-
answer the question.
Nope. Sorry. Silent. No, because Will just couldn't let me just seamlessly close the show with a clean end. We have to acknowledge why I want to avoid the 13th. It was a tiebreaker. I didn't make this quiz, but sure as shit, when I reviewed it, I'm like, try to avoid reading this one at all costs. If you thought what we had was, yeah, we'll close and you can read it to your heart's content. Okay. That being said, what a doozy of an episode. I appreciate everybody that joined us and jumped in the comments. The whole purpose of the live show is getting you involved. That being said, we've got a full Pickle Gallery that we could get excited about. So first, kicking it off with Silent, tell the folks where they can find you.
Kick.com/Silent Destroyer, live every single day.
Good man, good man. And Ricky, tell the folks, because it's been a while, where can they find you? What's going on?
Yo, I got a video just uploaded on Just Another Day TV on the YouTube, man. We went to the river vibing with JB and Savan. We cooked some food, drink some beers. It was a good time. It was a good time.
All
So
right,
go check it out. Just Another Day TV. Yep.
I'm going to share that.
A couple
So
shit.
you can find it on the Rethink Tank story too. Got to go check
Hell
it
yeah.
out. Just Another Day
Thank you.
TV.
Hey, and we outside, people. We outside as usual.
With a roof over his head. He's got AC for the first time in 2 months.
It's all in the heart. We got heater. I got heater, bro. This cold is not good. Colombia, y'all got to go to Colombia, bro. It's cheap and great.
I'll fit right in.
Skipping away, just hopping and skip away.
I'm just saying, whenever y'all can, just go to Colombia. It's cheap and great. Like, food is awesome, cheap, everything. So.
All right, well, I'm hopping on my way. Just gonna chew on some cocoa leaves. I'll be right back.
I don't know.
That being said, guys, I appreciate you joining us. The whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. So we appreciate everybody that jumped in the comments. We've got new content coming your way. Doug and I just had an awesome reactions channel. Let's get Ricky back in here for a quick second. Everybody take a look at Ricky's awesome, sexy sweatshirt. The logo being from the Rethink Actions YouTube channel. So be sure to head over there because every Sunday, Doug and I got a new episode. This week we just did the most expensive foods, and some of them are quite wild. And coming out this Sunday, we've got some of the craziest parkour moments. So be sure to head on over there as we got a new episode coming out every Sunday. But with all these podcast shows and everything across the different platforms, the place you can find everything is in one central place, and that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. So be sure to head on over there so you can join us. If we made you laugh, if we made you think, a lot of you joining us on X or Twitter right now. So the best thing you could do is retweet this bad boy. What you're seeing is the best thing you could do to support what we're doing. So we want to come at you each week. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit those buttons. This thing comes out for the folks streaming us. We do it, the audio podcast that comes out the day later. So cheers to everybody that's joining us at home. But get excited because we've got a full crew back in the studio, a lot to unwind. Couldn't be more excited, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.